and welcome. My name is Ethan Hamlet-Strahl, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to create a simple invoice template using Documents Core Pack. In this video I'll be showing you how to do that using Documents Core Pack's basic and advanced features, including dynamic relationship table creation, join fields, and our condition fields. This video will serve as a sort of visual guide for a template that we offer on our website. So for a link to that, and a link to our website in general, please consider checking out the video description down below. Now then, let's get started. So here you can see we already have a sort of beginning to our template. As mentioned, this is going to be an invoice template, and so we need to establish what the purpose of this template will be. Well, basically, the purpose of this template will be to list all products from an invoice along with any other relevant information, including discount and tax information. To show you what we're trying to shoot for here, I've already prepared a result document that was prepared ahead of time. This document shows what we're trying to go for. We have the information about the customer and their parent company, some general information about the invoice, the products themselves, and the discount and total information. This is what we're trying to go for here, and that is what we're going to be trying to build in our demo today. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this, and now let's take a look at our template here. Right now we don't have too much, but we're going to be changing that here in just a moment. But before we start adding fields and tables and all of that, what we need to do is we need to first go over to this mscrm-addons tab here, insert mail merge fields, and we need to start by, of course, setting the type. If you've already watched a few of these videos, you probably already know why this is important, but just in case you haven't, it's always important to set the type because you need to do that to get the right fields. And you cannot change this once you've already put in a field in the template. You would need to start over if you do that. So I've gone ahead and set the invoice entity as our type. Next thing that we want to do is we want to also set a name, a dynamic document name for our template, so that way when it generates, it will generate with its name that we set here. We set the property here, and we will go ahead and call this invoice, invoice, and plus, and then we're gonna throw in the invoice ID here, wherever it is, here it is. There we go. Let's just shrink that. Okay. And there we go. So we got those two things out of the way. So, with the type and document name set, now we need to start adding the standard fields. So what I mean by standard fields is any of the fields listed here. And I'm going to move myself to the side here so that way you can see it a little bit more clear. Let's start by filling in the fields here: invoice ID, payment terms, and due date. We've already set invoice ID earlier, so we can just put that in like that. And then due date, which is actually just up here, I think. Due date. And then payment terms, which you can find somewhere here. Okay. And now we want to add in some of the information regarding our customer and our customer's parent account. So to do that, we're going to have to go down to our lookup fields, which you can find at the bottom of the standard list of fields. We're going to be pulling from two different lookup fields, the customer account and customer contact lookup fields. So we're going to go ahead and go to customer account first, and we want to go with account name up top. Then, since we're already up here, we'll put address 1 down here. And then we want the primary contact, which we can scroll all the way down, and we need to go to the lookup within the lookup, right down here. Primary contact, and then we want their full name. We also want to put the full name here, so we'll remove that, and then add it like so. Okay, so that's that lookup done. And now we need to add in two other fields from this one, the customer contact lookup field. We want to add the address, and then of course we also want to add the full name. Okay, good. So we got that. If you want, of course, you can make these bold or italicized, whatever you want, of course. Standard word functionality always works with our templates as well. So that's what we got there for our standard fields. Now, I think we need to get into creating the table. What this table is supposed to do is we want to list off all the products as a part of this invoice. So we're going to be needing to get a few bits of information from our invoice entity, or our invoice line entity. To do that, we are going to go over to the additional tab over here, and then click on Add Relationship /Entity. The relationship that we need to establish is to invoice line here. So we're going to go to invoice, invoice line, and we're going to need a few fields here. We're going to need amount, we're going to need price per unit, quantity, and then we're going to need one more field, but this from a link element, which we'll go to select add there. And we need to refer back to the product to get the name field that we want. And that should be right here under many to one, product, invoice line, and then we're going to go select the name field here. And that will give us the name of our product. Then we can hit OK there. And then once I shrink that down, we're going to hit OK there as well. Okay. So now we got everything for our table. We're going to go ahead and expand that. And we're going to start by double-clicking the name field here to bring up the Insert New Table dialog. For this one, let's say we want table with header, table with footer, both split, and we want 4 columns for our 4 fields here. It's already populated with the name, so now we need the other fields. Go with price per unit, quantity, and amount. And then I'm going to put in the column names here, name, let's say PPU, QTY, and then amount. Okay. There's one other field that we want to add into this table before we move on to the next step, and that is the total line item amount, or total detail amount. I guess it actually has the same name from the logic standpoint. So we're going to go up and let's see, we'll minimize that lookup. We need this field, total detail amount, aka the total line item amount. So that way we will, when this generates, we will see the base amount, whatever this product costs, and then at the very bottom in the footer we will see the total line item amount. Now in this case this works because we already have, this field will dictate, or it will show rather, the total line item amount. In your case it might be a little bit different. Maybe you need to use a sum field instead. And if you do need a sum field for that, I would recommend looking to our website for that, for documentation on how sum fields work. In our case, we can just leave it like this. Okay. So now we have our product table, but we're not quite done. As we saw here in our demo result, we have the table, but there's also another spot that we have here where it shows the discount and total. There's also one other thing that we want to include in our template, which I will show here in just a second. But we want to show this bit of extra information as well, so that way, if there is a discount, we can get the revised total amount. So, how do we do that? Well, if you look here, we have our discount and we have our total again. What we want to do, another extra thing that I want to mention, is that we want to show the amount discount that we have here in our environment, but only if we actually have a discount for this invoice. If we don't have a discount for this invoice, then we don't want this to show up. To do that, that's where condition fields come into play. To create a condition field, we need to go to the Insert Field button down here. We need to open that up, and we need to go to Computed Item. Oops, once again blocking that, so I'll adjust that here. So Insert Field, Computed Item, and Condition Field. We're going to need to create 3 condition fields because we want to show 3 different bits of information. That is discount, if we have it, tax, if we have it, and then the total line amount if we have discount or tax available. So for this first one, we want to show discount if we have it. So we'll name this discount greater than 0. This up here. And we'll get the right field for this. Should be the total discount amount right here. And then greater than 0. This is how I want to set up the condition. So this condition field will only show itself if we have the total discount amount field be greater than 0. Otherwise, it will be hidden and it will not be displayed. So we'll go ahead and hit OK here. You will see then now we have our discount field set up here, but there's nothing in that yet. We need to enter something, which we will in just a second. Before we do that, let's go ahead and create the rest of our discount fields, or the rest of our condition fields rather. So computed item, condition field, and for this one, I'm going to go with tax. Tax is greater than 0. Then we pull from that field. Let's see, total tax greater than 0. Then we hit OK. And now one other condition field we want to add. Condition field. And that is if discount or tax is greater than 0. This one will work slightly different from the others because we want to include an OR statement in this. So here we need to go down and we'll include the fields that we already included before. Greater than 0. And we're going to include the total tax field again. Greater than 0. But now, to get the OR statement working, we need to select each row by going over to this arrow button, click Select Row on both of them, and then we select Group OR. When we do that, it groups them together like so, so that way, if the total discount amount or total tax is greater than 0, then this field will be displayed. Then we're just going to hit OK. And now we have each of our 3 condition fields included in this template so far. So we have our condition fields now included in the template. But the question is, what do we want to put into these condition fields? What we want to do here is, well, if we take a look at our demo, we kind of want to have this kind of structure. So we want to have our discount, total, and of course our optional tax field as well be displayed in this kind of format. So to do that, we can go into our template, and then we can go over to the Insert tab, and then we can include a regular word table into here, and we can do that for each of our condition fields, like so. Now, what we want to fill into these tables is just basically the labels. We want to include discount minus tax plus, and then total amount and then we'll leave that blank. And then we want to include the respective fields that we added into the conditions in the first place. So total discount amount for discount, total tax for tax, and then for total amount we want to include the total amount field. And now we have that set up. But if we were to include this like it is right now, it would look fine, but not too great. Basically, there would be rather sizable gaps in the template. And we don't exactly want that. So what we're gonna do is we're going to include another field called the join table field, which I will show off here. If you go to insert field, and then go to static item, you will see the join tables field right here. And what's important as well is that when we add this field to the template, we want to make sure that this field is included in the condition field itself. The reason for that is because when we want to include this, if the join table field is outside of it, then it might not exactly pick up that we want to join the tables. So we want to put the field just like that. And we want to do this for this one as well. So join tables. And there we go. And we also want to do one other thing, and that is we want to remove some of the white space in between these tables. So we want to, you can do this yourself, but what makes it easier is if you do click the show hide button up here in the home tab. That way you can see what kind of white space is there. And we want to make sure there isn't too much white space, so that way the join tables process works nicely. And we don't want to put another join tables field down here because there isn't a point. The join tables field will join whatever two tables are above and below it. So in this case, this field would join this table and this table. And this field would join the tax table and the total amount table. So let's just remove the white space there. And yeah, I think that should be good. We can also delete that if we want to. Okay. So we have our condition fields now all set up, and we're just about ready to get things ready for this template. We can go ahead and actually save the template now if we want to, because I believe we have everything set up. We got the table, we've got our condition tables all set up, and we have all the text that we need. So I believe now would be the time to save it and give it a spin. So I will go ahead and save this template, and we are going to call it Invoice Simple. Hit enter. And then once that is done saving, we're going to go into our environment. All right, there we go. So I've already got my test environment here, so that way we can test the template that we have. As you can see, this one's called ARC products, and we have a few products listed here. We're going to go ahead and click the Create Document button to create this template, or create a document based on our template. So here it is, our Invoice Simple template. We're going to click Next, and it will just give it a moment. We're going to attach the document as a note, create the document, and give it a little bit of time to actually create the document. Then you can see, hey, we got our dynamic document name here. It shows up here, invoice with the invoice number. You can see the preview, which is looking good. I'm gonna go ahead and close it out, click Finish, and we are going to go find this in our timeline. Okay, so there it is. We're going to go ahead and open this up, download to get a better view, and then here it is. So as you can see, we have our template here, or we have our document based on our template here. The general fields all filled in up here. A few empty fields, well, because they are empty in our environment. We have our products listed off here with their respective amounts, quantity and price per unit. And then we have our discount and total amount here, shown here. We have the discount and, of course, the reflected total amount. But what you are not seeing is the tax field, and that's because this record does not have any tax field in it, or rather, the tax field is left empty. So that means the condition field is working properly in that the tax field is not showing up. If we did have a tax field, or if there was information filled in the tax field, then you would see it show up here too. So with that, I think looks like it all checks out. Yep, just wanted to double check it there. All right. So that looks like that's gonna be it for our video here on the invoice templates. I hope that you were able to find it helpful. If you did find it helpful, make sure to subscribe to our channel and check out the other videos that we have on our channel. Make sure to take a look at our website as well, mscrm-addons.com. You can check the video description for a link to the website, and of course, you can check the description to a link to this sample template as well. That looks like that's going to be it for this video today. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.